very good afternoon to you, our cherished listeners. We're always excited to come your way every Wednesday with your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Yenara Yedia. Masterclass is also brought to us by First Code Management Services. Industry, they say get it right. And also brought to us by Lancaster University. They boast of being one of the only British university campuses here in West Africa. My name, as always, is Barnafo, and I'm excited to bring you today's edition of Masterclass. We're privileged to be joined again today in the conversation by Dr. Mapa Kwanta, and he'll be sharing some final thoughts with us. Today's show, unfortunately, is a final or concluding edition of our conversation and our series here on strategy. Hopefully sometime during the year or next year, we may have the privilege of bringing him back, but we will conclude all of our conversations today. And when we get interactive, if we do get the opportunity to do that, we expect that you'll pick up those phone lines and give us a call or send your comments so that we can all be a part of this conversation. Today, we'll round up that conversation shortly, but we have been spending time talking about strategy, simplified, introducing that conversation. We've also been looking at the strategic process. We've been looking at the tools of strategy. We've been looking at strategic thinking, and today we want to take the opportunity to look at a few case studies so that we're able to drive home that conversation very shortly. Doctor, you're welcome back to the conversation.
Thank you, my brother.
I know that a lot has been going on. We've been trying to prepare and put a lot together, and so much has gone on, but thankfully we're here today, and we'll be finishing off with the conversation that we started. Today we want to dwell a bit more on, if you like, some case studies, some Ghanaian case studies, and going through the slides that you sent us, I think that there are a few interesting Ghanaian brands that we'd like to use to explain some of the thought processes that we've gone through. If we have a bit of time, we'll probably go and take a look at some of the tools that you mentioned earlier on, and some of the models as well.
Exactly.
But otherwise, we want to go straight to those case studies. And I saw one Ghanaian brand, and today we're going to be mentioning names of brands so that we can drive home the points of the explanations very clearly. And in discussing them, we'll be looking at branding, we'll be looking at differentiation and supply chain excellence. Because I remember in the conversation last week, we were looking at the difference between differentiating your product and branding it so that it also is different. Because clearly, if you send the wrong message to the customer or to the person buying the product, then it informs their decision to buy or not to buy. So I think the first example today we'll be looking at is a local brew, a local drink, which we refer to as Bisap.
Yes.
Some call it Sobolo. But the specific brand called Mensdo. Mensdo.
Yeah.
And I think the tagline here is, my brother has swag.
Yes, my brother has swag.
Yes.
And on the other side, what have I written there?
Okay, so it says pour out the best.
Yes.
Pour out the best.
Yes, I'm talking about the red box. I just want us
Right.
to... today I want to do that.
So we're looking at
with you.
the example of Mensdo under branding and the differentiation.
So what happens is that Mensdo, we have a lot of Sobolo brands in town. People are trying to do this, cottage business. And what we see with Mensdo is that they have decided that they will distinguish themselves on the market. Clear differentiation strategy. The packaging is on point. Nobody compares with it. So you go to most of the high-profile places, and Mensdo is there. And the efforts they have made in the branding and the distinction also reflects in their pricing. And you never get worried when you are buying, let's say, Mensdo, what somebody else will give it to you at 1 cedi or 2 cedi. You'll be paying, let's say, 11 cedi for it, and you are okay with it because the brand is befitting. And it's that's why I said my brother has a swag. It's like, it's respectful for you. When you are taking it, you feel confident that the product is good, and it has a way of impacting on your image. One thing people should know is that people buy products for two reasons. People buy product, especially just for simplicity, look at it from a fashion point of view, but virtually every product. You buy the product to bolster an aspect of your life that you are lacking. So for an explanation, let's say you are short, and you would see that most of our friends who are a little bit short like to wear heels. They do that so that they can gain more height. So in this case, they have bought a product that is boostering a place that they are lacking in their lives.
I'm smiling because I have a mischievous example in my head. I don't think I want to share it on radio. Okay. Please continue.
But the point is that somebody is using makeup because when he doesn't use makeup, he doesn't get the smooth face. So the makeup is being procured to acquire the smooth face. So he's bolstering an aspect of him or her that is lacking.
Let me try and ask the same question, but in a more sanitized way. Do you think that people's marriage choices of married partners also sometimes reflects the theory you've just talked about, that people make choices, purchase decisions based on areas where they themselves are lacking.
It's possible, and I think that it makes sense if you are lacking in some aspect, and then your partner would complement you on that. I think it will make you more complete. So if you are making a choice on that basis, I'm not sure it's a bad idea. The other reason though is that people buy products that fit their personality.
Right.
So you would not expect that a person of the caliber of yourself would wear. And I'm not trying to say that. Let me make comparison. It's learning platform.
So let's use classes: middle class, upper class, lower class.
Of course. So there are certain places you certainly not go there to eat because it doesn't fit your middle class level. It doesn't fit you.
As prescribed by society.
Yes, so you not go there. And
Right.
the kind of tie you are using, as a matter of fact, it's not the same tie I presume you use when you're in the university student.
Not at all.
Right. So the point is that people buy product for two reasons. One is that you buy product that fits your image. And then two, you buy product to improve an aspect of your life that is lacking. So let me throw this in. So if you want to do what you call, today they say, I'm signing for some brand, I'm a brand ambassador and all of that, you need to take time and make sure that whoever you are picking matches the product. Whoever you are pitching is somebody that would resonate with your target audience. At least these two pieces of advice should guide you in making a choice of who should serve as a brand ambassador for you. Other than that, you will not really get anything at all from it. So this is why I say my brother has a swag. The same thing everybody is doing. He took it a notch higher, distinguished himself. You find this brand at top class places. The price is also good, and I believe that he's making good money out of that. And that's a lesson for us.
I tell you what comes to my mind when I see this branding. And I see, there's something you talked about the other day. You talked about differentiation.
Yes.
And the risk of not differentiating your
Exactly.
product. That sometimes people can mimic your product and ride on your goodwill in society.
Yes.
And therefore steal a bit of your
Yes,
of
so
your shine.
that is the problem that a brand like A1 had. A1, at a point in time, we had complaints that people were also making their breads and then putting their stickers on. The reason is that A1, just like Cocoa King, did not have safeguards. The industry is not an industry that is not difficult to enter, right?
Before you even go there, I mean, when I look at this packaging, there is a very popular wine brand that whose packaging mimics the packaging that Mensto has chosen to use. And I'll tell you, when I look at this drink, again, because we're mentioning brands, I think I can mention it. The wine that comes to my mind is Paul Mason. Paul Mason, it comes to my mind. And it's a point that you made that it's a certain, depending on the class of society or category of people, whether it's middle class, whether it's upper class, or whether it's low class, they have certain tastes or they're exposed to certain things. And therefore, that becomes a target segmentation for the product. Knowing all of this, that the customer buys based on certain information he has about himself or certain things he wants to do to complement what he doesn't have, to be able to attain or assuage himself and have a certain sort of self-appeal.
Yes.
What then becomes the information to the producer or the business owner? I don't want us to infer. Let's talk about it. If the customer will buy to assuage his personal satisfaction, or he will buy to complement what he doesn't have, what then should be the posture of a business person who makes this product in putting it out there regarding targeting, market segmentation, packaging, differentiating, branding? What we are looking at it from the eyes of the customer now. Let's look at it from the eyes of the business owner. The same point.
So you need the STPD strategic tool, which helps you to define your customer. In those days when we talked about it, we discussed the market definition. We also call this tool market definition. You need to know who your customers are, and then when you target the customer, you need to do some work on the customer in terms of understanding the customer, how the customer wants to consume the product, how the customer even wants to dispose of the product. You need to delve into that, and then also understand which channels favor the customer. All of these things must be in play in your packaging decisions, in your channel decisions. Look, Blue Skies said that if you find blue skies by the roadside, don't buy. There was a time they came up with a press release. Blue skies by the roadside, don't buy because our shelf life is small, right? Now they realize that the customers they are targeting, not all of them would want to get out of their cars and then go to, let's say, a defined supermarket
Outlet
or to go and buy. So now they needed to come on the streets, but this time around they came with cars which can freeze.
Refrigerated vans.
Yes. So these vans are dotted in town. And what they are doing is that they are trying to serve a certain kind of customer segment which is interested in time. Right? And then again, there are some products that your appeal is influenced by sight. So if I didn't see it by the roadside, I'm not buying it at all. So they were losing something.
But the question even becomes, who was your target market, really?
Exactly. So understanding your target market is always the first point because we are in business to make money.
Exactly.
But that is not the real thing. We are actually in business to serve certain needs. When the needs are being served, right, you will definitely make money. Right.
It's
So
a
the point is
byproduct,
that understand your customer and make sure your product will fit it. And let me say this to you. Look, if your customer thinks that the product is too high, let me put it that way, by way of some superior branding, and even thinks that this product I cannot afford, so I will not even ask. When this is the person you are targeting, it's a failure in marketing, because the branding must be such that it will.
The communication is specific.
It will.
and
It will.
direct.
They can associate the level of commonality between your targets and your message should be high, so that they can associate themselves with it. So if the level of commonality is that wide, then the person you are talking to will not even hear. So some people can brand it in a very grand way. The pricing could be okay for the target customer, but the brand could be so nice that the target customer will not go there. I'm saying this because I have heard people say that I never knew ShopRite items are not that expensive. They have never thought of going to ShopRite because it is in the mall. I went to Takrady and took my uncle to the mall, and he was surprised that things at the mall were not that expensive as he thought. So he said, if things are that cheap here, I mean affordable here, instead of buying it where I buy, I'd rather come to this place. They didn't know because the mall is looking like this is a sophisticated environment.
It's a
and
statement.
he did not consider himself as worthy of that environment. So he was not patronizing from there. The question is, how many people are thinking the same way? So you must always make sure that you understand your customer very well, and then you will make all your pitches fit the customer's.
Your marketing communication is also
exactly.
direct. I'm happy that we look at it from the perspective of the producer or the manufacturer, because it's absolutely important. Otherwise, you put on all the effort,
Yes.
and clearly you don't get the pitch.
And people should get it this way. Never do things on the wings of your strength as a business owner. Do it as a matter of fitting your proposition to the customer expectation.
I like that. So you're not doing it for you. You're doing it
Yes.
for the customer.
Yes.
Which brings me to a quick point I want to make, and then we can get interactive. Reverse engineering the product.
Yeah.
Talk about that, briefly. And when I say reverse engineering, I mean what I'm referring to is, instead of doing it and expecting the customer to react, find out what the customer wants
Exactly.
and produce to fit.
Exactly.
Let's talk about
And that's actually the
the role
essence
of
of
reverse
the
engineering.
go-to definition of marketing strategy, or even marketing now, is finding out what the customer wants and doing same for the customer, right? So you don't get up and say, I have the competency in doing this, and so you are coming out to do it. Find out whether people will be willing to buy, right? Some people say spot a problem, but yes, it makes sense to spot a problem and attempt to solve it, but always ask yourself whether the people will be willing to buy. And I shared a testimony. This is a very negative one, so I will not talk about it. But there is a salon that I went. The salon told me that it's a package. You pay X amount of money. They will cut your hair. They will massage you. They will do facials, and then that's the package, right? And the price is that high. So when I go to a barbering salon, what I want to do is to cut my hair.
I don't want anyone to touch me.
Yeah. So
To
when
touch
you are
my
now
feet for that
telling me
matter.
this, so the first day I went there, I was like, what is this? And unfortunately for me, I didn't have time. So just after the haircut, or even just before they finished, I had a call. So I told them that I need to go now. Then they told me that, so I wanted to pay just for the hair. They said it's a package, a bouquet, so I should pay for all. I said, okay, then I'll go and come back and do the rest and pay for, and pay. And they said that when I go, that is the end. Okay, so I had to leave because the meeting was more important to me.
Wait a minute.
And I've never been there.
You pay for it
Yes.
in full.
Yes.
But if you walk away now,
That's what they told me.
you can't come back and enjoy the rest of the services for which you've paid.
Yes. So I left.
Oh,
I've never been there again.
That's some heckling right there.
So I couldn't put out the brand, the name of the salon because of the store.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course
So
not.
I just left, and then I've never been there again. And I'm not sure that a lot of people will go back with such an experience, right?
We'll call it company
And
X.
again, the point is that why would you want to let somebody pay about 50 CD for haircut because of certain services the person may not need? So always understand value from the perspective of the customer. If the customer does not consider it beneficial, do not add it on as an augmentation by way of differentiation of gaining competitive advantage. Whatever you are doing as some sort of benefits that you are giving to the customer, make sure that the customer values it, the customer likes it, the customer sees it as beneficial. When you do that, then you can actually distinct yourself properly on the market.
There are a few more examples I want us to go through, but I want us to take a quick message from our sponsor. When we come back, we'll continue with the rest, and then we'll also give our listeners the opportunity to get interactive. We'll take a quick message from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass. We're going to be getting interactive very shortly. Just remind us also that Masterclass today is brought to us by Goyle, Good Energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Also brought to us by First Code Management Services Industry. They say get it right. And also by Lancaster University, the only British university campus in all of West Africa. If you own any motor vehicle of any kind, Goyle has some great information for you. Goyle is rewarding its prepaying Gold customers with 2 pesos discount per litre on all fuel purchased. You also enjoy discounts on lubricants at Goyle stations nationwide. So elevate your goodness by joining the Goyle Go Club today and enjoy up to 3 pesos per litre discount on all fuel. Goyle, Good Energy, Goyle, Yenara. Yeah, their phone lines are now open. Numbers to call 0302216541. That's 0302216541. Or you can send us a message on 05511119997. We're also streaming live on Facebook. So if you send your questions, the production crew will let us have it, and we'll try and answer those questions for you. Today is the concluding edition of our conversation on strategy. So we want to hear from you before we end this conversation, before Dr. Akwansa leaves us. Numbers to call again, 0302216541. Or you can send us your comments on 05511119997. Look, let's look at a few more examples of local brands. I've got Nestle, and it says, "Are you ready for war?" That's the tagline.
Yes, so I call this, what I'm coming to explain, "Are you ready for war?" Because as a boy, I only knew about Milo. There was Bonvita, but by the time I was a real human being, Bonvita was not
It
really...
was gone. Hey, Bonvita back in the day.
Yes. Now, we were there one day, then we started hearing something. Start your day with Richoko.
You actually remember that?
Yes. And I mean, I remember the ad. This guy was wearing brown shirt. He was moving from one bus to another, going to work, so bubbly, really excited.
Yeah.
And the whole impression was that he has taken Richoko and has got real good energy for the day. Now, Nestle sits down and says that, what is happening? They are coming for my customers. So what was the response? That time, we only had the Milo tin. We had the 400 gram and then the bigger one, I don't know. the grammage for that, but that was it. So they responded with Chocolim. Check the name, Chocolim, Richoco. Is coming to compete with Milo, right? Then they came with Chocolim. The Chocolim is at the time they just gave it a sachet. Richoco came in a sachet. So Chocolim was also in a sachet, the same pack size. What they did was that they increased the price of Milo so that it will be clear in the customer's mind that Milo is a premium brand. It's not part of this. The Chocolim was more like a fighter brand, right? Even today, I think the packaging is now brown, just like similar to the Richoco. That means that still competition is going on. Before it was green.
Would you say that they were playing on a different field now, different target market, different area?
Yes, so that
Hence
was
the packaging.
The action of and understand this is from what I am looking at as an observer, as an analyst. This is what I saw. I think that what Nestle did was that they developed the Richoco as a fighter brand against the Chocolim as a fighter brand against the Richoco. Right? And in order to do that, you needed to make sure that your premium brand will gain its distinction. So they increased the price of Milo and they changed something on the Milo. Before it was more, we call it gravels, like it was bigger. You could see the texture than now.
It was granular.
They now have to make it much more, a bit closer to powder, right? So they changed the texture, increase the price, and bring you Chocolim with the same texture of Richoco. That's the first thing. They didn't end there. Then they came and said, look, Milo, maybe somebody wants Milo but cannot buy the tin. Can we give him small sachet? So they did smaller Milo sachet also there. And they didn't end there. They introduced Choco Milo, right? And you know what they were doing? They even wanted to make sure that the name Cho cannot even be owned by Richoco. So they have Chocolim, Richoco.
And then Choco Milo.
And Choco Milo. All around the same thing. And then they even did the Milo strips. So you could see that they had provided enough battle for Richoco. So Richoco is still in the market, but could not destroy the prospect of Milo, right? So every time they take any move, Chocolim would be there to act, right? So they have dominated that environment. This is similar to what happened to Guinness and then I think Guinness and then Coca-Cola. So what was it? Malta Guinness and Coca-Cola had never competed. If you wanted malt at a function, you take malt. If you want Coca-Cola, you take Coca-Cola. And there are people who could take both malt and Coca-Cola at the same time, right? So they were not competing. They may compete on budgets, but they were not directly competing. Then we're there one day. Then Accra Brewery said that we have come up with Alvaro. And the way they did the launch and the way they positioned the product, it was as if they were going to fight Coca-Cola. I say something might have gone wrong. The reason is that you bring a product like this, you want to fight Coca-Cola. What they did was that at the time, Malta Guinness was 1 cedi, right? And then they also priced the Alvaro 1 cedi. Coca-Cola was 60 cedi then, 60 pesos then. So what they did was that they came up with an advert, and you may remember they said still 60 pesos. When they did that, they didn't end there. Then they introduced Schweppes malt. The idea of the Schweppes malt was to sort of come into the market and compete. Now see what happened. Now Coca-Cola maintained its customers and then still gained its unique position. Now what happened was that within the malt drink environment, there was Schweppes malt there was Alvaro there, and then there was Malta Guinness. So what you saw at functions was that somebody who said, oh, I don't want to take Malta Guinness, would go for Alvaro. And now there was a competitor's brand there, which was Schweppes malt. Today, you don't even find Schweppes malt on the market anymore. At that time, what they wanted to do was that they wanted to get it clear that when it comes to malts, Coca-Cola, we have no competition with them. We are still 60 pesos. They want to compete with us. They are 1 cedi. The 1 cedi bracket is the malt environment. So,
the quick one. I've gotten now from Spinter. Now says, I'm liking the practical examples being shared today. It's been a great month of learning. Thanks also for the ticket I won last week. I learnt a lot and was inspired. Big ups to the organizers, Quick Brand, and the 2 speakers. Mabel Simpson, and Abeku Santana. This is Na from Spintex. Na, thank you for getting back to us.
Congratulations. Yeah. So you can clearly see that when you are getting into competition, you need to get your systems right, right? And then also always ask yourself, what is the likely response of the competitor? And understand the landscape. There are certain market leaders saying, you better you do not compete with them. You can decide to find a space that they are not interested in and play there in a very niche environment and have successful business there. If you want to compete, then come out right. I think that if Alvaro had priced their product at 60 pesos at the time, we would have calibrated this as part of that group. Maltina, what's the name? Not Maltina, sorry. Schweppes, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Fanta would have put them around in the same bracket.
Yeah.
But immediately they priced it at 1 CD. Coca-Cola made sure that the distinction is clear. I think it was around 2006 thereabout. So they told everybody that we are not competing with them. Look at the price. But they now introduced a competitor just to make sure that Alvaro will not stand. And you could see that I'm not sure their numbers increased that much because you would see that people were just now had 3 options. Hitherto, it was only 1 option. Now there were 3 options in the competition for them. So Coca-Cola was even taking a portion of that. But when they succeeded by not making Alvaro achieve the aim that the original plan, what did they do? They left it.
I've got Ajiman Joseph, aka Ajingo the Man. He says, "Good afternoon, Masterclass. I'm enjoying your show. Please ask for me that choosing a name for branding, is it advisable to go for a name that is already known, or it will be something new and unique?" I think, Ajiman, you called last week and asked a similar question. But again, let's see if we can answer it for him quickly.
I mean, if he did that, then it means there is still something that is lingering on his mind. So let me use a minute to help my friend Ajiman.
Yeah.
When you are choosing a brand, right, if the name is known, ask yourself, known for what? And what is the benefit? Because ultimately, you want to be on the market and be identified as a unique brand. So if the name is known, right, and is so powerfully associated with something, then it may not help you. Sometimes, too, if the name is known and you are able to leverage on that, it could open some doors for you.
Please hold the thought for me. I have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name, where you're calling from. Oh, I think I lost the caller. Please call back. We definitely want to hear what you have to say.
So there is, I don't know whether I should call it symbiotic relationship, or maybe if you look at Zenith University College and Zenith Bank, there are some times that people think that the Zenith University College belongs to Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank is a powerful brand, right? Zenith University College is not as powerful as Zenith. If they put their some better systems in place, they can leverage on that. But to what extent can that give you that value? It makes more sense. Of course, if people are associating you with a bigger brother, it's not that bad, right? But the point is that I would say come up with something that can be unique and be associated with you and work hard to gain the thrust of your targets, right? And then move on with it.
Okay. I have another caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name, where you're calling from.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacob Jr. Asian Noni Juice. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Talk to me, Jacob.
I have to look at this way. You said that we should look at what the people need. But first, you identify the problem. And then you develop a solution to the problem. And then you want to give up the quality to the world class. Let me use Noni Juice as an example. I produce Asian Noni Juice, formerly Ghana Noni Juice. And then I discovered that, I'm public health, realized that the Noni, if you add the pulp and the juice, it is more powerful and handles a lot of conditions than only the liquid. And then the whites have adulterated, yes. They have added other sweetness and other things, so it is not 100% as it is. And I want to give to Ghanaians that I can stay in Ghana, give you 100%, but the cost, you see, I'm giving the 100% at a certain cost close to what is coming from outside, which is not up to the 100%. And more so you meet a legal a law saying that change from Ghana to Asian. And looking at that place, I want him to see how best he can advise. I want the quality, I want the best for my people, for the people to know that we can make it big, do better things here as compared to from outside. Yet, the quality that you want goes with a cost. So how do you work around it and also meet a legal change, which is to bring you back to expansion?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacob. We'll try and answer that question. I've got a few more comments on social media. We'll try and read them briefly, but before we do that, a quick reaction.
Yes, so, I mean, very, very important situation there. I think that you need to, I understand his context, and his context is not exactly what I was trying to talk about, but the point is that when you want, you know that there is the quality. You see, whatever you put in your product comes with costs, right? And here you are. You find yourself in a situation whereby you are now competing with what you think is subsidized or is substandard, and so their price is okay. I mean, cheaper, and people prefer that. So what you do is that you now have to ask yourself, who are my target customers? Your target customer is not the one who wants to buy the product at 1 cedi. There are people who are thinking of their health, and they are willing to pay 10 cedis for what somebody would want to buy it at a cheaper quality standard at 1 cedi.
So his focus
look
should
out
be
for those
on-
people, and then make sure that you will serve them. Get the message there correct and get it right. This is what I say all the time. How did you know you like water until you first tasted it?
That's all that thought. Okay, I've got Renee from Dodo, and Renee says, good afternoon. I've been following for some time, and I really enjoyed the sessions this month of September. As a small business owner, I have learnt a lot from the presenter. In rounding up, perhaps you could just give us your final takeout, not just from today's conversation, but from the 4 weeks. And then you could just touch on some of the other brands that you didn't talk about. We can do 2 minutes for that, and then we end the show. Yes.
Okay. So what else did I put there?
So there's Ripco,
yes.
there's Goyle, there's Lucozade, there's Salomo, Bitters, there's Mercy Cream. There's
Let's talk
Inculin.
about Melcom.
Right.
Let's talk about Melcom. So Melcom, as a business, they say where Ghana shops, right? Melcom started saying where Ghana shops when it was this way. When Ghana started campaigning for us to go for made in Ghana products. So these are Indians who have come to understand our environment so well and have now become our brothers. So I said that how did I title it? I said that they have become our brothers.
Yes.
Yes, so they have become our brothers and they are working. They have in excess of 40 branches all across the country. Now, let me tell you the trick. Melcom knows that their products...
The tagline here says, the visitor calls us home.
The visitor calls us home.
Yeah.
Melcom knows that some of their products are not of the best quality, but they are still pushing it because they are looking at a certain customer they are targeting. Now, having done this for a long time and they keep expanding, it's a sign that they are successful. Now, let me tell you what they have done with their merchandise strategy. They have 2 things they do. They have the Melcom Plus arrangement, and then they have the Melcom, what I would call the Melcom Regular. So if you go to, let's say, Suhum or Konongo and you see Melcom there, the items that they have there, the quality level is associated with the target audience within that enclave. If you go to the Melcom Plus that is around the industrial area, the quality level is just like every product you find in Accra Mall. The Melcom that is close to the Spintex Road Melcom, it is also one of their prestige shops. And they are selling high quality products that you will not find if you go to, let's say, Konongo Melcom. They have actually, even between Nungwa Melcom and Spintex Road Melcom, when you go there, you see that the items there are different. They are targeting the people based on their purchasing power and their need. Right? Somebody cannot afford to buy a pair of plates at, say, 80 cedi. But he can buy 15 cedi one or 20 cedi one, break it after 2 months and come and buy another 15 cedi. So they know their target markets for these separate zones, and they give them the exact products that will favor them. This is the foreigner who has come to understand us so well and is giving us what fits us per the target customer at a particular location, and they are doing well. So there's some lesson that we can pick. You cannot just have one slate of business for everywhere in Ghana.
Yeah.
Kumasi and Accra could actually be totally different based on what you are doing.
So the approach should be specific.
Yes.
What's our takeout from all of these conversations?
Okay.
30 seconds.
Yes. So strategy, you need strategy. The thing is that whether you are conscious of it that you are running a strategy or not, there is some kind of strategy in place.
It's either a good strategy or a bad one.
Yes. What you need to understand is that you must take time and understand the environment you are working in, and make sure that you have taken care of all the factors some of the factors we discussed, right? And then at least ensure that the decisions that you make will do at least two things for you. Identify a certain kind of need that is cherished by a certain kind of target group, and then make sure that you have the capabilities, right, to
deliver
address
it.
these needs to the expectation of these customers. If you are able to do something like this at every point in time, your
Doc,
business
there's
will
a
be
business owner
afloat.
listening to us. They want to reach out to you after the show. Are there any, how do they get in touch?
Yes, so you can
Numbers to call?
yes, 02655127709, or at any point in time.
If you can just repeat that number for me slowly.
02655127709.
Right.
And come to PricewaterhouseCoopers at any point in time.
Right.
You can get me from there.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have to end this conversation. Next week, we continue. We start a different area. We'll be looking at a new topic that will help your business to grow. We'll come your way again next week. But before we go, I want to leave you with a quotation from my famous strategist, which is the Chinese strategist, Sun Tzu. And it says that in the midst of chaos, there is always opportunity. My name, as always, is Barnafo. This has been Masterclass. Thank you for watching, and see you same time next week.